What's up, guys? Welcome to the Behind the Golf Brand podcast. Week, I have my good friend Rick Versace from Proud 90 Golf. As you guys know, Proud 90 makes probably the best polos that are out there. So I'm really excited to have him on the show. I've been a fan for a long time. I love the content that they do and just the way they portray themselves and have branded themselves the last couple of years is really cool. So I'm really excited to have him on the show.
What's going on, man?
So
I'm
where are you
excited.
located?
We are in Boca Raton, Florida, so between Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale. For those of you who don't know, a lot of people when I tell them Boca Raton, they're like, "Oh, like Seinfeld." I'm like, "Yeah, exactly." So,
It's exactly what it is. It's like Seinfeld. Exactly. It
yeah,
looks just like that too.
yep,
Um, Did you grow up out there or what?
yeah, pretty much. I moved down here from New York when I was 6, and went to high school, or, all school, and then moved away to Central Florida for a couple years for college, and then moved up to New York for a couple of years and worked in investment banking for a brief stint, and realized that I needed to get back down to South Florida when I was up there for like 2 years and it snowed on Easter and had to get out of the cold, and then came back down to Florida and been here ever since.
So, like, growing up, who did you golf a lot as a kid? Like, or did you get lessons, or who taught you how to golf?
Honestly, no. Like I golfed with my friends probably in like high school, and I would go golfing with my dad like randomly growing up. But I played baseball my entire life, so like we would go out and golf and just like mess around. We all had baseball swings, so like we can make contact, but weren't consistent, weren't
All over the
very
place.
good at
Yeah.
golf. Yeah, exactly. We were all literally just trying to see who could hit the ball the furthest. That's pretty much what our golf game looked like. I never really had lessons, but like I always loved playing golf. Like I enjoyed it, and then once I got to college, started playing even more with our buddies because like we just kind of looked at it as like a drinking event, like grab a 12 pack and throw it in the back of the golf cart and go out and whack some balls for a couple hours. So never really like played competitively, even though like playing baseball and sports my whole life, like I always have an element of like competitiveness to my game. Like I want to win, want to like play well, but it doesn't always end up that way.
So then, like, what's your handicap then right now? What do you think it is?
I think it's like 17.
That's what I'm a
17.
15, 16 right now. So we're the same, bro. Look at
Yeah,
that.
man, we gotta go out and
Yeah,
play.
we have to. We
It
say who's
fluctuates dramatically though. It'll be like I'll go out and I'll shoot like 89, and then the next time I'll go out and shoot 103, and I don't know what the hell
Yeah,
happened.
that's me. That's
So
me too. It just depends on the course and how bad I'm doing that day. And it's like, and then I think I got down to like a 17. I was like, oh man, I'm doing awesome. And then I played in some golf tournament and I played like complete crap. And it was super hard golf course. And then I went like up. You know what I mean? Because then you like it automatically registers on your account or whatever, and you're like, oh
yeah,
come on, like that's not even fair. Like I played, and then you play a bunch more courses that are like your level, I guess you could say, and then it's like, oh, it goes right back down. So it's like,
yeah.
but
So I play this one course by me like pretty much all the time. It's the only course I play. It's like a
yeah,
relatively short course. It's like a hotel resort course, so it's like it's almost made to be easy for the hotel guests. And I was playing that
yeah,
for forever, and then I went and played in a golf tournament up in Georgia, and it's like pine trees all line the
completely
course, and
different
it's
course.
super long. Yeah, and I shot like 20 strokes higher than I usually play. I'm like, what happened? I thought I was getting good at this, but
That was like me, dude. When I was a kid, like I played golf here in Arizona, and then like we don't have a lot of trees. It's all
yeah,
desert, and
palm
and
trees.
I went and played in like in Chicago. And it's all these big ass oak trees and all this crap, and it's like you in the trees, you're hosed. Like if
Yeah,
and then yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's like
down here in South Florida, if you
100%.
slice one out of the fairway, it's just in another fairway, and you just go play it from there. You go
That's
anywhere
like me
else, it's
too.
like, oh, that ball's gone forever.
That's gone. Yeah, it's in the forest. I'm not going in there. That's gross. Like, yeah, that's me. So
Yeah,
then, so you grew up in South Florida, and then when you went to UCF, did you play baseball at UCF or did you just go to college at UCF?
I went to Stetson in Central Florida, not UCF, but I played
Okay.
baseball at Stetson freshman year, and then quit halfway through the year because I wanted to have a more traditional college experience. Basically, I was
Have fun.
probably partying a little too much. And the next year, I actually went up to FSU for a year and loved it up there. Stetson, like, it's such a small school. It's only got a couple thousand students. Doesn't even have a football team. Well, it does now, but at the time it didn't. So I wanted like a big college experience and went up to FSU. Loved it up there. It was amazing, but ultimately ended up going back down to Stetson because it just uh, there was there's too much fun to be had at in
Yeah,
Tallahassee.
I totally get it. I would
You know,
bet.
yeah. So I
So what
bounced
year were
around
you?
there.
What year were you there? Like when were you that?
2000, what was it? 2008 through 2012. So I think I was in
So like
Tallahassee.
those key years, like when they were like really good,
I was back at Stetson already by the time that like
they
Jameis was
blew
winning
up.
championships. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think my first year out of college, my senior year of college, they won. And then the next year was the year they lost in the championship. So I just missed
Did
it.
you watch it? There's that documentary right now on Netflix about UC or US
About UF.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw. I was watching that
What
a
gate
while ago.
was it? Swamp Kings or Gator
Yeah,
Kings or
whatever.
something?
Yeah, yeah. I watched something. What's that? Oh, that's a different school.
Yeah.
What school is that? That's UC. Yeah. I don't know. I'm so confused right now.
Yeah.
But
University of Florida. It's like Tim Tebow
yeah,
and
Tebow story. 'Cause I was like, what happened to Tebow? Right? And then I was like, oh, what's happened to that guy? That
yeah,
dude.
it
That
was
dude's a big
wild.
dude.
Yeah.
So you went to New York, and then you're in finance, right? And did you like it or not really?
I honestly I did like it. It I grew up with my dad owns a few different businesses and like kind of always like when we had baseball games, he was always at our baseball games and like we'd go on vacation and you could, basically go
Yeah.
and do whatever you wanted. And then, I had this like dream of working in finance, like had this like idea in the back of my head of like Wolf of Wall Street kind of like role up there. Then I got up there and like it was great. Like it was fun. I met a ton of awesome people. I learned probably more in the 2 years I was there than I did all 4 years of college. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I was like, I wanted to get back down to South Florida. I
Yeah.
kind of always had like the itch to kind of do my own thing. So, 2 years in, I was like, let me stop working 12 hours a day, making other people money, and let me go try to work 12 hours a day, making myself money. So came back down to South Florida, started working with my dad, started running his sales and marketing for like 6 or 7 years and helped grow some of his businesses. Tried a few things out along the way that didn't necessarily pan out, and then ultimately, started Proud 90 and started growing this thing.
So what year did you start Proud 90?
We're 4.5 years in, so I want to say officially
Mm-hmm.
2018, but the first like 6 months to a year was really just like had the initial idea for the brand, um, put together like a logo, got like came up with a name, threw together a really basic website, and had like 5 or 6 different designs, but like wasn't really promoting it a ton. Like didn't have really a lot of inventory to even sell. It was really just kind of like something I joke and say like it was a side hustle that paid for my golf habit pretty much. Like I'd sell shirts to like friends and family that liked them. And probably that was like the first year and a half was really like that's how it went. Still working my full-time job with my dad and was doing Proud 90 like in my spare time, but like I was getting a lot of people that like saw the brand and like saw some of the designs are like, oh, this is a really cool idea. Like I like it. So I always kind of knew there was something more there, but never like carved out the time to be able to like really focus on it. And in I guess end of 2019, beginning of 2020, obviously COVID hit, and it was a terrible time for a lot of people around the world. And for me, my job with my dad was in corporate travel, and all of a sudden, the corporate travel gig, there's nothing going on. Like my role used to be traveling around visiting corporate clients around the country, and obviously there was no travel whatsoever. So I had a lot of time on my hands back in the beginning of 2020, and and had Proud 90 kind of like up and running, and it was doing minimal sales, but just needed a little like extra attention and extra push. So I really, put my head down and started working on like, work on building on the website better design, coming out with better prints and better designs for, our shirts, finding better manufacturers. And then in that first year, we really started to gain traction pretty quickly. And yeah, and that we are where we are today.
So, okay, first question: how'd you come up with your logo, the dog?
So it's actually a funny story. The logo is originally like a duck head with an X underneath it, like the golf club X thing. And the idea at the time was like, oh, Proud 90, like duck hooks, like, really wanted like something that kind of stood out, but also had a little like funny idea to it. And about 6 months in, we got a cease and desist letter from a hunting company called Ducks Unlimited. And they're a fairly large brand down here. Like I knew them in
Heard
college.
of it.
Yeah, and I guess they have a trademark on the duck head just in general. Like our duck head didn't look anything like theirs, but they seemed to think that it did. And the letter basically said like, stop using our likeness, or we'll come after you for any profits you've made using the logo, blah blah blah. And at the time, I was like, I haven't made any profits, so what are you gonna do? But ultimately,
I have no money, bro. So
yeah, exactly. It's like,
you can take my
come and
dad.
get it. But ultimately, I was like, all right, whatever. Like 6 months
F
in the
this. I'm
brand,
like, well, how close was it though? Or were they just flexing?
I think it was like it was a duck, a profile of like a mallard head, which they also have. But
Yeah,
I
I looked at their
mean,
website. That's why.
yeah, I'll try to find
But
you a copy of the old
that's
logo to show you.
crazy.
I wish
So
we
then
had
what'd you
like,
so then what'd you
uh,
do? So you're like, okay, time for a new logo because I'm messing with
yeah,
this. If I want this to be a real
literally,
brand.
I was like, there, no one knows the brand anyway at this point. Like, if we're only 6 months in, we're not even doing marketing. So I was like, all right, let me just change it. And I was like really racking my brain trying to figure out like what's a new logo that we can like, you know, change to, and trying to think of all these different like fun kind of like golf related things.
Yeah.
And I was taking my dog for a walk on a golf course one day, and I have a 145-pound Great Dane named Tank, and he was standing next to the pin like that, and I was like, you know what? Maybe that should be our new logo. Great Danes, like they say, don't live very long, so it was like part of it was like, all right, let me immortalize Tank in the brand, and also once we've got like the mock-ups and everything, I was like, oh yeah, that's 100% it. Like that's what we want. And like the tagline, like I don't know, unofficial tagline is just like let the big dog eat. So that's how we landed
That's
on the big
awesome.
dog logo, Tank, and almost getting sued.
So then, so like, what year did you switch the tank logo?
2020, probably like the beginning
During
of
COVID?
2020. Yeah,
Yeah, when you're
yeah.
like, okay, we're gonna. So then, like, how did you like come up with the idea of these design shirts? Because not a lot of people were doing it, even in 18. Because like everyone's like, oh, everyone jumped on that bandwagon with Bad Birdie, but like, bro, this 18, like Bad Birdie was like, there's there nobody back then. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's funny because at the time, like I had this idea and I was like, oh my God, this is a revolutionary idea. Nobody's doing this whatsoever. Like people, like I'm gonna be the first one ever to make fun prints on golf shirts. And then fast forward like a year in, I came across Bad Birdie. I was like, oh shit, there are other people doing this. But that just almost it
Would you
like
come across them like when you're watching TV and you're like,
no, I
oh,
didn't
it
see they weren't
sucks?
on Shark Tank
Oh,
yet. They
oh,
weren't
okay,
on
because
Shark
you're like,
Tank
oh
yet.
my god, this is not happening.
As I started like going on our website all the time and like running ads and everything, the algorithm started picking me up and showed me one of their ads. I was like, oh, that's similar to what we're doing. That's not ideal. But I also was like validation, right? Because I was like, oh, okay, there are other companies doing this. Like there's
Yeah.
obviously
I mean, the
a
market,
demand for
right?
it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do they say?
Less
Like the first
scary.
first guy through the wall gets bloodied. So I don't know if we were the first guy through the wall. We definitely have got bloodied a little bit along the way, but it's nice to see. I mean, it seems like there's a new brand popping up every week trying to do patterns,
Yeah,
but
but I think it's kind of too
yeah,
late. That's what I
it's
think.
just I look at it as like the more that like the big boys start doing prints like Callaway and
Well,
like I don't know FootJoy,
never do that.
it opens up the market for like more patterns and prints and fun stuff. So it's just better for us and better for golf in general. But what was the original
So
question?
then, so so when you came out with the first design, like how did you come up with those designs? Was it like
Oh,
in your
so
head?
the first design, I actually have it sitting right next to me. I didn't plan this, I promise. This
Well,
was
we didn't
the
plan this, you guys.
yeah,
Just kidding.
it just
We
happened to be
really
sitting
didn't.
next to me on the desk.
He looks at
Uh,
it every day. He's like, "This is where you were." Just kidding.
this is the first design. It's Tropic Thunder, and it's literally like a Hawaiian button down that we just turned into a golf shirt. And the idea came from, I think it was like Ricky Fowler and Jordan Spieth golfing on spring break, and they were like wearing like open floral button downs, and like one of them had no shirt on and no shoes and board shorts, and they were just golfing. And I saw it on Instagram, and I immediately thought to myself, I was like, yeah, like these guys can get away with it because they're professional golfers. Like they don't have to wear the same old boring stuff that everybody else does. But the rest of us have to be like all buttoned up and like look country club professional. And like myself, like like I said, I like to go out and golf and just have a good time. And a majority of
Yeah, me
my
too.
friends are the same way. Like we're not trying to get on the PGA tour anytime soon. So that kind of sparked the idea. And then, the original design
So you
was
saw a picture and you're like, "Hmm,
it's like,
maybe we should do something."
how can we make this for the rest of the golf world? Yeah, pretty much. The initial design was this floral Hawaiian shirt, Tropic Thunder, and made a couple other designs to start out that I
How
think
many
this is
designs
getting
you start out with?
overwhelming.
Like,
I
what was
think
your
we
initial
started with,
run? Or I get your initial run, but like, what was your initial like set? Let's call it. How many did you
I'm trying
buy?
to
Not buy. How
think.
many designs did you have initially when you first launched?
I think we either had 10 or 12. So we had this
Enough to
one,
fill the page, right? That's the way I
literally.
do it. I'm
That,
like,
that
so
was
you
the
don't look like you
goal.
have one product. It's like, oh, we have 6, right?
Yeah.
Or we have 12.
Like you
Yeah.
have to scroll down just this much to be able to see more
Yeah, you
product.
gotta go all the way to the bottom to see that that's where it ends. And like, it's not
Yeah.
like, oh, we only have 4 shirts. Sorry.
We had some funny stuff, man. We had a shirt that was all blue, and it had a pocket on it, and the pocket on the chest was just like a big picture of a panda. I don't know where
You're just like,
how we,
whatever. But maybe some people buy it. Like,
literally
people like
that's what we were
pandas.
going for. And we did some stuff with like we would do it all over print, but then have a solid shirt with like the top of the sleeves have like a stripe on it, which admittedly we haven't tried out in a while, and I kind of want to get back to because it was kind of a cool look. But it was so early on that we were just testing different things. Like we were
People weren't ready.
literally,
Yeah, that's the problem. Like that? Don't you think that's the problem about like you don't know what design people are going to resonate with, right? So you
yeah.
think you know, so you have it's like a shotgun, right? I mean, that's the hardest part, I would say.
That was one of the biggest realizations that I had as we started putting out more designs more frequently. I'm very involved in the design process and like working with our designers to
Well, it's your money. You're like, dude,
yeah,
you're like, that
yeah.
does not work. We tried that 3 years ago, and I know I like have 97 left of those shirts.
But I'm learning that my like favorite
Aesthetic
shirts are
eye.
definitely not
Yeah,
always the favorite shirts of the rest of the world. There's been a few
really.
that, and we try to do surveys before we launch anything. We'll like send out a survey with 20 new designs
That's smart.
and let people say like strongly would buy this, would never buy this.
You do that
And
do you do that to all your buyers that ever bought a shirt from you and said, "Hey, what do you guys think?" Or do you have a
not
certain
everyone.
group of
We typically
people?
try to keep it to like some of our like VIP customers,
Yeah,
just like
that
more of our
actually
target.
care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And it's cool because like getting them involved in the design process and like what's coming out for the next collection and everything is a lot of fun. You get a lot of funny feedback and a lot of different suggestions. Like a lot, some of the designs we've done have been like just suggestions from our customers that were like, oh yeah, shit, that's pretty cool. We'll do that. But there's been times
So
where like
like
we'll do the survey and one of them will flop completely. And I'm like, ah, no, man, but that's pretty sick. We got to go with that. And then like inevitably we launch it
Sure
and
shit. It did like
it
does
just
it
doesn't
tanks.
sell. I'm like,
You're
all
like,
right,
oh my
cool.
god, it
I got
sucks.
presents for my entire family for Christmas now. That's great.
It's the panda shirt. Yay, we all get panda shirts. Yay.
Man, I wish I still had one of those laying around.
You have it somewhere. You know you have like one left in a box, all
I
wrinkled up and
actually
like in a
have a
corner.
box. Our original
That'd be
printer, our original
cool.
manufacturer sent us over a giant sheet. It's like 10 by 12 feet long of all of the different prints on it.
Oh, that's cool.
Um, and I have it in the, I would say I could run and go get it right now. You can see exactly what all of our first prints were, but I don't
Um,
want to leave. I don't
that'd
want to
be
leave
cool
dead
artwork
space.
though, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be cool? Like to have it on a wall and be
That's
like
why
here's where
I've
we
saved it.
that's where we started. You know what I mean?
That-
Like you
yeah.
frame it and be like, oh, I mean not frame it because it's so fucking big, but like it'd be cool
Well,
to see that for
that's
a brand.
That's why I saved it. I want to ultimately like either cut them out and frame them and put them on a wall and like try maybe make like a like Proud 90 throughout the years wall, and have like this is where we started because we're constantly on top of just like the patterns and everything. We're trying to do different stuff every day, like trying to learn like what our goal as a brand. Like yes, we make fun golf apparel and like the pattern shirts are our bread and butter, like a majority of what we do. But like ultimately, we just want to make fun and memorable golf products. So we're not necessarily like pigeonholing ourselves to just fun shirts. We want to really try to do a lot of creative things in the golf world, and whether that be other apparel items like gloves, and we do shorts that do really well. But also like I don't know, like
I love
tumblers.
it. No,
Yeah.
I love it. I think you guys are. I don't know. I've always loved what you guys did from afar. Like when I first met Rick, I was like, "Yo, I've been like a fan for like 2 years," and we were messaging. I don't know, it was Rick. It was who was I was messaging with? What was his
Matt.
name?
Matt. Yeah.
Matt. Like 2 years ago, right when they
Yeah.
first came out, or at least when they were. That's the first time I heard about. I mean, not when you first came out, but that's when I first like you were marketing a lot more back then, I would say, as
Yeah.
far as you started marketing because you were like, "Hey, we're Proud 90, just wanted to say hi," or something. But I mean, I think what you guys are doing is phenomenal. Like it's good. It's good stuff. Like it really is, you guys. Like it's good. And the patterns are great. And that's the hard part with pattern stuff. It's like a lot of brands just throw a bunch of crap and they're like, it would be stuff you'd never wear. And these are all like well
Yeah.
thought out, funny, cool patterns. Like, but
Yeah.
I don't know. So like that's bad kudos to you to figuring
Thank
that
you.
out.
Appreciate it. That it's obviously with it being 90% of what we do around here, these patterns is a lot of detail and a lot of thought goes into creating each different pattern that we make. Some of them are a little off, like more off the wall than others. Some of them are like a little bit more subdued, just because we realize that like you can't wear a shirt with like unicorn pool floaties on it every day to the office, but like we have some stuff for guys that want to wear it every day. But yeah, it's funny because like as we started selling wholesale, people be like, "Oh, what's the story behind this collection?" I'm like, well, one of them is a bear driving a golf cart. One of them is a bunch of
So I was at the golf
adults at a
course with my
pineapple party.
dog, and I
Yeah,
saw a panda bear driving a golf cart.
yeah. Like the
Like, oh,
story
that's
is
pretty.
they're fun. Like there's not much more to it. Each one has like a little bit of backstory, but there's no like clear linear like
You're like,
this is
bro,
why we
there's
did
no
this.
like story. Like that's it. Like, oh, what's
Yeah,
your inspiration? You're like, listen,
yeah.
we're not in Fashion Institute here in New York, okay? Like, we're not making like, there's no like theme here. Like,
We're
oh,
putting
it's the
designs out, hoping people will see it on Instagram and like, holy shit, that's ridiculous. I
that's a
want to get
cool
it.
shirt. I'm gonna buy that. Or, that's funny. I'm gonna wear that or whatever.
Yeah,
What was
exactly.
that thing? What movie was that where was it Will Ferrell who's in it? No, it was Zoolander, right? And they like had remember in Zoolander at the end, and they had the like fashion show, and the collection was it called
Derelict.
Garbage? Derelict. It's
Yeah.
Derelict, dude. It's so freaking funny. That would be you guys.
Uh,
Oh, we did a Derelict collection. It's
we'll do a
like trash
Derelict
cans
like
and shit.
do a Derelict collection one day. We'll do Oscar the
Do it.
Grouch on a bunch of
Do
garbage
Oscar the
cans.
Grouch and like just
Yeah,
plastic bag, like garbage bag and stuff like
yeah.
that. That'd be so funny.
That's the
It's
fun
like
thing about our
for
brand
all of you
too.
guys been asking for the collection, here you go.
We and like we're not limited to like any one direction to go in. Like
Oh,
we when we sit down and put together new designs, we literally say like all right, this one did really well last drop. How can we make something wilder, brighter, more fun than that? And that's like our thought process. It's how we start out. And then kind of go from there and say, like, oh, well, if we're going to do that, we could do this too. And then it's just like our design meetings are literally just like
Laughing your asses off, like, oh, we should try this. Oh, let's
pretty
try
much
that.
you're writing 100 different ideas on a whiteboard and being like, all right, how do we get rid of some of these? So
So when you first did your initial orders, like back in the day, like what was your MOQ? Like 100, probably 100 shirts or 1,000 shirts? I have no idea.
I want to say it was 500 when we
Holy
started
moly!
out, something like
Of one
that.
design, of one design, right?
No.
Oh, that's cool. So you could do
Yeah,
like, I want 100 of this one, and 100 of that one, and 100 of
yeah,
this one,
exactly. It
whatever,
was like
and
100 per
test the
design.
market.
Yeah. Um,
What
but when we
sizes did you guys make though?
at first we did even of all sizes. We split it between like small through triple XL.
What did
I
you
didn't
learn
know
from
what
that?
I didn't know what I was doing.
What? No, yeah, no shit. Like nobody knows that's what to do.
I learned that a lot more people wear triple X's than I thought, and nobody wears smalls.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I think honestly, I think not a lot of other brands, especially in our space, do triple X's. So we've been able to kind of
That's
fill
awesome.
that market a little bit. But like large and XL sell double everything else, like almost probably everything else combined. So that was
Yeah, I think large and XL is probably the majority, right? Like, dude,
yeah, by
I would
far
say definitely
large.
XL. Definitely XL is probably the majority, I would
Yeah,
say. And then
exactly. It's
like
just
large, and then 2XL is probably like it goes out, and then probably not a lot of mediums, right, or smalls, or
yeah,
maybe.
mediums and smalls not as much, but large and XL are like definitely top sellers. Mediums and double X like are okay. Triple X sells a decent amount, and then smalls are just
That's what
like
sucks though, right? Because you're only if let's just do easy math. Like you're gonna buy 500 MOQ just for your first run, and then you're buying 100 of every style, right? Then you gotta break that down into how many like sizes, right? So small, medium, large, extra large, double XL, triple. That's 6 of them. Let's say you don't even do triple XL, let's you just do double. You only get 20 shirts, right,
yeah,
for each size. And then if like nobody buys these guys because they're the wrong size, now you're stuck with over half your shirts no one's wearing because it's the wrong size. Like that's the hard part with starting out. I mean, you learn as you go, but you still
yeah,
spend
100%.
capital on stuff that's not selling.
When you're starting
Um,
out, and then you have a couple, weeks of good sales because you have all your larges and XL stocked up, and then they're all gone, and now you're hoping that people are going to come buy the mediums and smalls. Like, yeah, that's definitely like part of the learning curve. Coming from I was in corporate sales and marketing, so like, and then before that in investment banking, I didn't know anything about inventory management.
how would you? Yeah,
Yeah,
this is a skill you never learned.
yeah,
I mean, even buying product, like it's like that's not your forte, right? Like you were like, oh, I went to school for fashion, or I went to school for I was a buyer for somebody. Like I don't jack shit. You're like, I'm gonna go find a factory and I'm
yeah.
gonna like
Starting
make some cool shirts.
starting
Like
out, like before I knew anyone in the industry or really anything about the industry, literally was Googling uh, sublimated golf shirt manufacturer and trying to find companies that way. And like you found some people, but like they weren't always the best people. So it's definitely a lot of trial and error for the first like, I don't know,
2 3 years,
year and
right?
a half.
Bro, I've had the same problems. I mean, it's the same thing. Like,
I mean,
like you think you have the right manufacturer and you don't,
yeah,
and then you have another one. And it's like you're hoping to find the unicorn, really,
yeah,
right?
you get it. It helps if like you find someone that you could trust, and but there's always issues, and just like every business, like their business is just like ours. Like there's always going to be setbacks and issues and delays.
Don't do
So,
gloves. Don't do gloves, dude. I know you're probably saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do gloves." Don't do
did you
gloves.
try
I'm telling you
gloves?
right now. Yeah, it's a big mistake. Don't do it.
Really? It was a
Like,
nightmare. Why no one
like
bought them, or they were just crap?
they're crap. I mean,
Really?
they like well, they were all crap. I was all excited. I like had I think 7 designs, right? I had like pink, orange, whatever, a bunch of colors, and I had black and I had white, and then I had a camouflage one, right?
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool too. I'm all excited, all excited. And then like they all came in, they looked great, they looked whatever, great packaging. I designed the packaging, all this crap. And then like I went golfing with my friend and I gave him a what color was that? Red or I don't know, orange. I don't know. I gave him some kind of color, and the freaking glove bled. So like all of a sudden, took the glove off, and his hand was, I don't remember, some color
No
that was
way.
like the color of the glove, and I was
That's
like,
amazing.
uh, yeah. So now you're like, and I've been selling them, and I'm like, oh no. And then what do you do? So then I like sent an email to my email list. And was like, hey, I'm getting reports, and I had this issue too. Like, if you bought them, I'll refund your money. I don't want you guys, to like have to deal with that. I go, however, if you just want to like I go, they're not all like this, but I don't know which ones aren't. So if you want to roll the dice, I'm literally selling them for like $8, right? Or whatever, right? Some low ass price. And then
Yeah,
you know what
just take
happened?
them.
I got sold out. Everybody bought it. They're like, I don't give a shit. But
Yeah,
like I
exactly.
was honest about it. But yeah, that's like, don't do gloves, dude.
I
Because you
would
gotta
have
find the right manufacturer, and like it could
I would have
rip.
immediately, when that happened, said, "Hey, sorry." So the people who bought it apologize, but then start marketing it as like a trick glove and have people buy it as gifts for other people. Like, hey, want to really screw with your buddy? Like, buy this glove. It's going to turn their head blue or their hand
That'd be
blue.
hilarious. That'd be hilarious. I was trying more like damage control. Like, okay, great. Now
Yeah,
they think
yeah.
I'm selling janky products.
That is
So
one
it was
thing. Like
funny.
early on, when like you have those little issues, it's like the world is over. It's like the sky is falling. Like I don't know, we would have like inventory like coming in that gets delayed for a week. And at the time I was like, oh my God, our customers are never going to talk to us again. We would like pre-sell stuff for like our wholesale customers, and like maybe just desensitized to it after a couple of years. Like it's still a big deal, but it's not like, oh man, this is over. Like I'm going to have to shut down shop because of this. So when you,
I think I feel like those first couple years are so hard because you have to learn so much, and you don't know what you're doing, and every penny counts, right? Every
yeah,
dollar. And it's like you're trying to live off of it, you're trying to support your family, you're trying to like run a business, and like big setbacks like that can like kick you in the nuts because you're just like, well, I was
yeah,
expecting that.
yeah,
It was. I mean, people still bought them. It was hilarious. Like people still bought all my gloves, and
yeah.
then like I'm like, okay, there's no returns, whatever. I said that right. Like, and then but I was very honest. And then like 2 months later, some guy's like, oh, my hand turned red. I'm like, no shit. Like I told you that was gonna happen.
That's why
Like
it was $8,
you
bucko.
paid $8 for a golf club, bro.
Yeah,
Whatever I charged, $7. It was like nothing. I was like, well, sorry.
well.
I'll tell you. I told you 15 different places that could happen. So
Yeah,
just throw it in the trash. Or they think about gloves too is they rip. Like people are like, oh, I wore it one time and it ripped. Can I get another one? Well, obviously you bought the wrong size. Like,
yeah,
bro.
for real. Every golf
Don't do
club I've
gloves.
ever had has ripped. Like, no,
So,
I'm not
bro,
giving
like,
it
it's
to
like,
you.
don't do gloves. Don't do gloves. I know you're like, oh, do gloves. Don't do gloves. I'm
All
just
right,
telling
good
you.
to know.
It's like the money pit because you're gonna have to like what if you get the they're cheap. They're cheap to make. They're really cheap to make. But like the MOQs are not that high. I don't know. That's just my advice. You can take it for what it is, but
Good to know. I'll take that
because
into consideration.
you're like, oh shit, we just bought 10,000 gloves. Now you tell me this. Um, so what's coming out like with you guys this year? Like, I know we're kind of already in September, but like, what do you have going on for the rest of the year with the holidays and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we started doing a whole line of solid polos and with just like
And gloves.
and gloves.
Just kidding.
We have the best gloves that you'll ever
Oh
wear.
no, no.
We're gonna turn your hand brown
Blue. Well, I
and
got a supplier for you if you want one of those suppliers.
perfect. No, so for right now, we're still sticking with our bread and butter and just doing apparel, apparel, hats, pants. And then we'll do like during the holidays, we'll do like some fun products that really are just like free gift products. Like don't even sell them on the site a lot of times. But like the main thing that we've been seeing, because like the way that our collections typically work is like we'll launch in October ish for like fall, and like for the last 2 months we've been selling to all of our wholesale customers. So like the products already like are out, and like people have been buying the new collection, but only the wholesale guys. So we've seen a lot of like got an idea as to like how the new collections are going to do once they get online. And we've been selling solid polos that have just, I'm actually wearing one right now. Like the collar has like just
Oh,
little
that's
detail
cool.
on it.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Because like one of the main, not main things, but like we have a lot of customers that like love our brand, not just for the prints, they love like the touch and
It was
feel. Yeah, they're just comfortable
their
shirts. They're
quality, and they want to
quality.
support your brand, and they like what you're
Yeah.
doing too. Like,
But they're like, I can't wear Tropic Thunder to the office every day, and I wear a golf polo to work every single day. So like, last year we did just regular solid polos, and I mean, although people bought them, it like, I don't know, it pained me to do it. I'm like, oh, these are so
because not who
boring.
you are, right?
Yeah,
You're just like, oh, dude.
yeah, exactly. So like these are like much more along the lines of what we're trying to do. They're still fun. They still have like the element of our patterns. And, we can see people coming, like buying Pineapple Party and then coming and buying the blue one with the little Pineapple Party, like, elements to it. So that way they have like a weekend polo and a workday polo. So,
So smart, dude. That's
so that's
really
the main
smart.
thing that we're doing. And then we have some hats, like all over printed hats that are coming out in the next couple of weeks. So we got some
Like
cool,
full print,
cool
because your
stuff.
other hats are just like white, right? And then the bottoms have the lids have the bottom of the
Yeah.
lid, which is smart
Yeah.
too. That's really smart.
Yeah. They were pretty cool. What we found was like, I don't know, whenever we do something that's like middle of the road, like out there, they don't do as well. So like the under the brim was like people who weren't really interested in getting like a full print. They didn't sell
Yeah.
as well as you would think. So we're going like all in, just like full print, like rock and roll, and then like other solid hats that have like a patch with the print in it. So we
Oh,
got,
that's smart. That'd be cool.
yeah,
Well, so what would the pat? What's in the patch? Is it gonna have the logo and then have the print behind it, or what?
yeah,
That'll
exactly.
be
So it'll be
sick.
like our best selling prints with the patch right here, the dog in the middle,
So it
Proud 90
matches, and then it
around the
matches the
top.
shirt. That'd be sick.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really smart.
So we're pumped about
So,
that.
the other thing I want to say too, what I thought was genius. So I met Rick through Remick, CEO of Golf, who was on the show a while back too. And like one thing I thought was just brilliant that Rick did, which Remick talked about, was the the house last year. Can you talk about that and like what that was? And I mean, this
Yeah,
is brilliant. This is
yeah,
brilliant.
for sure. So early on in the brand, we try to put a big emphasis on influencer marketing. So just partnering with either big or large influencers or big or small influencers, and just really trying to get the brand out there as much as possible. Like at the time, we were still pretty new, and wasn't really a recognizable brand. So we just began reaching out to all these guys who are on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, and just saying like, hey, like, we'd love to send you some product. Like, let us know what you think. So, we were doing that a lot and like getting a lot of good content from like the golf influencers that were just like out doing their thing. And that kind of sparked the idea of like, well, what if we brought them all to one place and just had them collaborate with each other and just like have them wear Proud 90 all day, every day, and just go out and say, like, listen, we're not asking you to shoot like commercials for us. We just want to like document you guys doing your thing on a daily basis and like let you go out and just have freedom to just create all day, every day, but just happen to wear Proud 90 while you're doing it. So it kind of sparked the idea of the content house that we did last year. And we had 4/5 guys come down and put them up for a month. Got them a house in Boca Raton, and just like all of our local connections with golf courses, just said like, hey, you guys can go play these 5 courses whenever you want, and like if there's another course that's like on your bucket list, let us know, and we could try to set that up for you too. And they just shot content nonstop. And like the cool thing was, like Remick, like he was big on, I can't remember if he was bigger on TikTok or
TikTok.
bigger
It
on
was big on
Instagram.
TikTok, I think.
He's big on one of the two, bigger than the other. But then somebody else in the house, Cannon Davies, he was big on TikTok. So like they helped each other say like, this is what I'm doing on TikTok. This is what you could be doing. And like, it just allowed Remick to blow up his TikTok, and like vice versa. And then like Busta Jack came down, and who was it? Busta was only there for a couple of days because he still had a full-time job at the time, and then had to go back to Texas and go to work. And he had such FOMO from missing out on the content house that after being home for a week and like seeing all the guys down at the content house creating, he called us. He's like, guys, I just quit my job. Like, I'm doing this full time. I don't care. Let's go. So
Wow, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
yeah. So it was pretty cool. And then like those guys came out of it like bigger than ever. I think their first
They're
deal was with
crushing it, bro. They're crushing on YouTube right now.
yeah, dude. They're good golfers, man. They're just like stupid good at golf.
Really?
Like, yeah. I think we played one round with like as a welcome round with everybody, and like Joey Coldcutt came down and joined us because he was working with us at the time at the Boca Raton Hotel over here, the easy resort course that I was telling you about.
The one you look
And
really good at.
yeah, exactly. But
Man, Rick's so good. It's like, yeah, he is.
Busta shot like 9 under or something.
Holy
It was
shit.
it was wild. And I was like, all right, cool. Well, I'll take my 87 and go home. I don't
Yeah,
know why I
it's
just
all
said
right,
87. I don't
bro.
even know if I've ever shot as 87 in my life. But
You did one time, but that's how you got you down to. That's how you got down to 16.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so it was awesome. And
That's
like,
so smart, dude. Because like, I mean, it's such thinking outside the box, and that's why, like, I mean, that's a mad respect for you because like that takes big ass balls to even do that, right? The cost of like putting that whole thing together, and but the vision of seeing the talent, the people there, they're not like about to blow up. You know what I mean? So it's like the
yeah.
industry's not even looking at them yet. I mean, I guess like social knows who they are, but it's just so smart, dude.
Well, that was the thing too, because that was like we had to find guys who were willing to come down and not like we couldn't pay them $10,000 to come down for the month, and that's what some of these big guys get.
No,
Like if you want
oh,
them to
easily.
if you want them to put out content for you for your month, like $10,000 and above. So
Nah,
at
bro.
the time, like those guys were all kind of like I'd probably say medium sized influencers with like 30 to 50,000 followers on each channel, and like I think like that month of them just like grinding it out, putting out content every single
Focusing,
day,
yeah,
working with
and
each
being with
other.
their peers. That's the other thing too, which is so
Yeah.
smart.
I think like a lot of them had like tremendous growth from being down here, which was
That's what
awesome.
Remick
Like
said.
it was so
Remick said
cool
it
to see.
changed his
Like,
life. That's what Remick said on the show. He's like, it changed my life
yeah,
because he
it's
said he
amazing.
quit his job, went down there too, and he's like, had I not done that, there's no way I'd be doing this right now.
Yeah,
So it's like, he said like because he learned how to step up his game, and he was taught by a peer and like
yeah,
helped out. It wasn't like I think that's a lot of people understand is like when you're an influencer or whatever, like you're an island, like you're just doing your stuff, right?
yeah,
It's all you're doing. Everyone's islands, and it's like to have friends that do the same thing, they can be like, no, don't do that, or that's a good idea, or let me show you how to do this. Like that's so massive because
yeah,
it's like it's one less skill you have to learn, and you can't learn these skills in school. It's like you learn by doing. It's like running a business, right? You
yeah.
learn by doing. So I don't know, man. That's why I heard that. I was like, that guy's smart as hell.
That's
Because
cool though.
most,
I didn't the
yeah,
fact that Remick said that changed his life. That makes me happy because like he's a super good dude. Like we
super
still have
good,
worked with
dude.
him a bunch since the Content House, and like always willing to come down and like do different collabs with us and everything. And yeah, I know at the time he was still like trying to figure out like how to do the
Well,
influencer
it's a
stuff
scary
at the
thing.
time.
I think
But
it's
yeah,
like if you
it's
have a
like
job,
because
you got to
you're
pay
not
your bills.
until you
Yeah,
get to a
like I
certain
get.
level, like you can't live off free golf stuff. Like you
No,
need someone to
dude.
start paying you real money. And until you get to a
Like
certain level,
you can do free for a while if you have a job, right? And this is
yeah,
like your free fun. But like if you want to make that jump, like you gotta get paid because you're
yeah.
not gonna be able to do it. It's
And
impossible.
it's like the chicken or the egg. It's like you almost got to quit your job and
Exactly.
start doing it full time to be able to get to that level. Honestly, it's similar to like how Proud 90 got started. Like if my job in
Yeah,
corporate
exactly.
travel didn't get shut
You
down
would never
for
have done it. You would never have done it, dude.
100%,
Never.
like doing it for a
Never
couple
done it.
hours a night at home, there's no way we'd be where we are right
You
now.
would have just been like one other brand out there that's
Yeah.
doing it, and like you would never gotten to the level you're at now. There's no way because you don't have
100%.
time.
Yeah.
Because you're making good money, right, with your other job,
Yeah.
and it's like why, and you're doing this for fun. And that's how I did this. That's all for fun. It was fun. It was like
Yeah.
no, it's weird. It's crazy. Well, I'm a huge fan of Proud 90. Honestly, I have been for a long time. Where can people find Proud 90?
So you go to our website, it's just proud90.com, proud90.com. Our Instagram handle is proud90golf. TikTok, I think, is the same thing. We're trying to be everywhere. So, and you can email us at any time. Our customer service is just info@proud90.com. If you ever want to chat, ask them like, hey, saw Rick on a podcast. wanted to ask him a question about this, like feel free to reach out. Always happy to meet some customers. So
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.
yeah, thank you, man.